Hello, welcome to my bathroom. Let's do a really simple makeup look together. I'm gonna start my eyebrow application by getting my skincare out of my brows. And then I'm gonna pick up just the tiniest amount of setting powder and kind of rub it in there with my fingers. So I have a nice dry base for my eyebrow pencil to adhere to. I'm using the faux brow, which is kind of like liquid liner for your brows. I really like it a lot. There's a little bit of a learning curve with it. And I'm still figuring it out, but I do like it. I think this color's a little warm. I'm gonna start my eye makeup with a little bit of concealer. A little bit goes a long way. Okay, today I'm gonna do a really light neutral eye because I'm just out and about running errands. I'm gonna start with this color right here and sweep it all over, kind of mainly in my high crease area. This really makes sure that the concealer underneath is set and gives me a nice base to blend on. That way there's no dry patches, or I'm sorry, that way there's no wet patches. I'm gonna go in with this color as my first crease color, and we're gonna see how that goes. It's a really light color, but I am pigmentally challenged, and so look how dark that comes out on me. So I'm gonna blend all the way up to where there's really about where I'm not blending is about this pencil's width of lightness there. It will help to camouflage my eye hooding that's beginning to happen and give me a nice sculpted look. And this is my blend color, so I am gonna go in with a darker color in the deep crease. I'm gonna go in with a fun, warm, deep crease color. It's a warm brown and it's sort of on the dark side of medium. And I just take my brush, load it up with color, and then this is sort of a fluffy but pinched flat brush. I really like the shape of this brush. And I line it up and kind of dot it on and give myself sort of a wing. And then I do little circles and then start to bring it in. I don't really want to go past the inside edge of my iris with this color. And I'm going to wipe my brush off and then come back with that lighter blend color and go back over this part and blend it in. That sort of upper part and right here in the middle to get a more blended look. Okay, so that dark one, I'm gonna dot it on, do little circles, and really get, what I'm really doing is trying to get all the color laid down out of my brush. You can even kind of swipe it off a little bit, clean it off a little bit, and then begin the windshield wiper motion. A little darker than I want right there. So I'm gonna get that light color that I started all over with and add that in and lighten it up. The biggest mistake I see people make is that they put the color down and then they don't clean their brush out. They just go back and blend with the same brush and then they end up with too much product right in here. Okay, now I'm gonna go on, I wanna do a warm color on the lid. So I'm gonna use this shimmery color on the lid. I heard 2016 is back. 2016 eyeshadow is back with a light lid and a dark crease. And I'm gonna go in with a dark matte brown color as my eyeliner with a fluffy flat angle brush. It's a flat angle brush, but it's fluffy because I wanna get a really smoky line, a soft smoky line. And I would do this if I was going to put liquid liner on too. That way my eyeshadow has a smoky soft background and it will cause, you have your shadow. If you have any jaggedness in your liquid liner, what will happen is that shadow will fill in the jaggedness of the eyeliner. So having it in the background can help to set it, but can also help to make it look more smooth. And I'm just going over that line. I kind of dotted it on and now I'm really blending it out. Because I want there to be depth, but I don't want a harsh line. I want it to be really blended out. I rubbed off some of my eyebrows when I was doing my eyeshadow. So I'm gonna go back in and add another layer. And sometimes when I do my eyebrows first, then my eyeshadow turns out darker than I think, oh, I want. more brow than that. Some tubing mascara. What do you think about tubing mascara? How do you feel about tubing mascara? Some people say it's a gimmick. I like it. I don't notice a huge difference from regular mascara though. A trick for getting a good liquid liner application is to actually do your mascara first. I know it seems a little crazy, but it creates sort of a hard little shelf for you to apply on. But what I would recommend is waiting for your mascara to dry before you begin adding your liquid liner. Because if you don't, you can pick up some of your mascara and mix it into your liquid liner, which changes everything. And also go back. You can see, if you can tell, these are standing up, but these lashes are now kind of laid down. So I'm going to need to go back, and I didn't take my own advice. The mascara is still wet. So I'm going to need to go back and then put mascara back on to lift. I really should have tight lined, but my pencil broke. I don't have one right now. So we just have to pretend that I did the right thing. I put my sunblock on. The foundation that I'm using today has some sunscreen in it, but I'm experimenting to try to get the foundation to sit and set on top of sunscreen. This foundation does have some SPF in it. It's actually got a decent amount, 25, but I put a layer of SPF underneath it. And the other day I tried it, I experimented with the SPF, a setting spray, and a powder, and it worked, but I felt like it was really dry. So today I'm gonna try it with just a setting spray. Okay, now that my setting spray is dry, we're gonna do some foundation. So when you are working with a foundation and you think, oh, I tried it, this foundation doesn't work for me. I think one of the biggest mistakes we make as women is we're trying to get our makeup done really fast before we run out the door, and we're not sitting down and experimenting and trying different things. So getting your foundation to work for you, there's really 5 things that go into that. Your skin type, your skin prep, the actual foundation, whether or not the primer, if you use a primer, then the foundation, and then your powder. And any one of those 5 things can be off or different or changing your final result. Those are the 5 kind of things that go into your final result as a foundation. So maybe it's too dry, it's cracking, it's caking, you need to add some moisture into it. Maybe you need a primer. I don't think primers are necessary. I think primers are addressing a concern that can be adjusted with either skin prep or using a different foundation, or maybe more or less powder. And powder, setting spray, and foundation can be layered differently. You can put powder and setting spray. I did powder the other day and setting spray under this foundation. Today I'm just doing setting spray under this foundation. So you can layer them differently and experiment with different layerings to get what you want. I want to do lips before I do my bronzer and my blush. This is not necessary, but it can help, because when you go to put your cheeks on, if you don't have your lips on, you can do it to an intensity that when you do put your lips on, you think, oh no, that was too much. And a hydrating matte lipstick. Let's warm up the edges with bronzer. My tip for people who are just starting, maybe you're just starting out your makeup journey, or you're like me, you're coming back after a long period of time off, is to really just leave your bronzer around the perimeter of your face. Put it here and start experimenting with it before you start coming in to the face. This is where people tend to start having issues, as they come into the face. Just a little bit right where the darkest spot is. And that's usually enough for me to then take my concealer brush. I really like this shape concealer brush. Different brands make this shape concealer brush. I don't like those really flat tight ones because I like to bounce. And then what I've picked up concealer, and I'm going to bring it over here. Now, I will let it set for just a moment and then go back and check it. And if any product has settled into my fine lines, I'm going to use a Q-tip or my finger to swipe it away. If I use a Q-tip, I'll swipe it. If I use my finger, I will bounce to pick up, to absorb extra product. You can clean off your brush and do it that way. And then I will set it with powder. So here's the moment of truth on whether I got my skin prep correct. I'm going to set with powder. I don't see any separating, so I think we are all good. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with a cream blush And I'm gonna set it, I'm gonna top it with a powder blush. You do not need both steps. But blush tends to be the thing that wears off first during the day. And if you are having an issue where you're putting a lot of blush on and you check your makeup a couple hours later and your face has eaten your blush, try layering it. The layering is for longevity. It can also help to give you a more blended look, but if you're having issues with longevity, I would try layering. So I'm gonna do one of these baked blushes and a nice loose brush. Oh, that's a lot, that's okay. I like a lot of blush. And when I go to put my highlighter on, my gold highlighter on, it is going to cancel out a certain amount of that blush. Just blending, blending, blending. One could argue I'm too old for highlighter. I don't care. Okay, so that's the look. I'm just gonna set it with setting spray. And then it'll dry and I'm good to go.